Oh, finally slept in the cardboard house last night. Troy was the first to sleep in it because I've only ever worked on it and never really set myself up in here and slept in it. And yeah, I slept in the last night and it was rather hot, so I left the door open to let it cool down for a while because it had got to, well, according to my car, it was up to 34 degrees or something like that, which is surprisingly hot compared to the other days we've been having recently. And it was still 26 in the kitchen before I come out here. So I sort of slept with the door open for a while and then ended up waking up and closing the door when it got cooler. Anyways, I sort of, I went to bed like 2 a.m. or something like that, and woke up and it was about 10:40. I think it's, I don't know, probably 10:50 or something now. Anyways, in the morning about 8:30 or something like that, I think the sun started to come up and warm the place up, but the clouds have since moved over, and I actually heard thermal expansion up in a corner, and in another part here somewhere I could hear thermal expansion. And I noticed something last night as well, involving a bit of the timber, and yeah, I think the timber warping has something to do with the movement of the cardboard, because I can see a real definitive case of it, which I might show on in a bit of definition in another video. But yeah, it wasn't too bad in here. Yeah, I seem to realise the bed's a little bit too tall for comfort, sort of thing. But, you know, that was the height, I think. Well, it was the height I ended up making it. I don't know if that was something I'd done for more storage at the time or what, but yeah, it just seems like it's a couple of inches too tall. But anyway, it means you can sit at the table and, you know, your knees aren't going to be hitting the bottom of the table. Troy did mention that he didn't say anything about hearing thermal expansion, but he mightn't have realised exactly what it was. But he did say that birds walked on the roof, and it was really quite noisy when they walked on the roof. And I remember from previous experience with this, that when it rains and you're in the cardboard house, it's really quite noisy. And also I noticed even with the door closed this morning, you could hear the birds as clear as clear. So there's basically no sound cushioning whatsoever in here. And originally I did have a different, I've had a varying design ideas as I've been building this. But, you know, one of the original designs would have been rather muffled. But, you know, this one, no, you hear absolutely everything. You hear the rain noisily, you hear the birds walking on the roof noisily, and even the birds in the trees making noises. You can hear it straight through here. There's really no stopping the sound at all. Now that may be seen as a disadvantage if you want to keep things nice and quiet, but I sort of think if you're a refugee and you're, you know, were fearful of attacks from rebel forces or government forces or whoever you were fleeing from, you know, being able to hear trucks miles away may be some sort of comfort to you, especially if you do get attacked on occasion. You know, then you're prepared for it when they come, because you can hear them from quite a distance away. So that in itself is a psychological benefit. You're not missing out on any of the goings on outside. Sleep-wise, though, it's probably not that great, really. But yeah, that's something that I sort of really noticed in it this morning. Other than that, it's good to sleep in, you know. It's yeah, comfortable enough and that. This air mattress is a bit odd, as all my air mattresses sort of are. But you sort of feel like you're floating when you're on an air mattress, but then you realise your butt and the bulk of your body is sort of down a bit lower than your legs are and all that. And then when you go and sit like I am now, it sort of almost bottoms out, sort of thing. But yeah, that was my first night sleeping in the cardboard house.